Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the Definiti Retirement Academy. We're really glad that you're here. I'm really glad that you came back today. Thank you so much if today is your second day. And if today is your first day, welcome. We're glad to have you. My name is Elke Gibba. I'm Director of Marketing with Definiti. And I just wanted to start with a few notes about our session yesterday. It's very well attended, some great questions. Thank you so much for participating and coming with your questions. I hope that you learned something. Now, I do want to let you know that all those sessions were recorded yesterday, and we'll be posting them to the website probably early next week. And we'll send you an email with a link to all the videos so that you can watch any of the sessions that you've missed or watch them again. There were a couple that I felt like were repeats, things that you would go back to again and again. So for instance, yesterday we talked about the plan sponsor link, and Jen Cross gave us a really great presentation of the census collection process. Just so you know, that's really just for when it's time for you to collect all that data together, and we will be in communication with you when it's time for you to start using our plan sponsor link for Definiti. So be watching for that email, more to come on that. For today, we have some great sessions. We're going to continue our 401k 101 classes, kind of talking about the basics of a 401k. We're going to also talk about cybersecurity today with our CIO. He's here to help us with some cybersecurity tips, things that you can do when you're working with Definiti. And then we're also going to talk about participants, all about participants. So it should be a great session today. I did want to pause for just a moment and say thank you to all of our sponsors. Without their support, this would be really a different program entirely. But we are really grateful for their help. John Hancock, American Funds, Securian Financial, Principal, Voya, Penchecks, Empower, Transamerica, Lincoln Financial, T. Rowe Price, and the Standard. Now, you are all in the plan sponsor track of the Definiti Retirement Academy, and I mentioned this yesterday, but right next door, the financial advisors are also attending a separate track for financial advisors, where they're actually hearing from our plan partners a little bit more details on some of the services they offer, all in an effort to serve you better as plan sponsors. But today, we're going to talk specifically about your plans, about things that you might need to know about, and we're going to start here in just a second. A quick note about questions. We will be taking questions during at the end of each session. Please use the chat function, and I'll be watching for any kind of questions that come in, and I will be sure to ask our presenters today. So use that as you have questions or as they come up. And now I think we're ready to get started. So grab your pencil and your notebook. It's time to take some notes, and let's get ready for the first session. So our first session is 401k. What does it all mean? And I'm going to pass it over to Crystal Wilson. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, thank you, Elke. I am Crystal Wilson. I am the manager of the new business implementation team here with Definiti, and I'm going to be speaking to you guys today on some key terms and resources that we have available to you guys as the plan sponsors. So, when you have your plan, there are a lot of different terms that we use in our industry that are unique to our industry. Definiti has provided you all a guide, a plan sponsor guide that goes over some of these terms, provides definitions, and a little bit more detail and background on them. This is a resource for you, but we are always here to help you as well. So please feel free to reach out to your contact here at Definiti if you are not sure. You guys should have access to the plan sponsor guide if you are a recent client joining to Definiti. We do provide that to you when you are being onboarded. Additionally, this resource is going to be available to you through the new plan sponsor link as well. So with your retirement plan, there are a number of parties that are involved in the proper administration and day-to-day functions of the plan. Some of these you clearly are familiar with, and some are a little gray, and we are going to go into that a little bit more today. So if you think of your plan, there are 4 key parties involved in it. You are the plan sponsor. You also have your investment advisor, your third-party administrator, and your record keeper. Definiti here is your third-party administrator. Your investment advisor would be someone that you elect to work with, as well as your record keeper. That's going to be an institution that you work with as well. We're going to go into detail on each of these parties, sort of what their main functions are for your plan and where they come into play. So first, we will start with you as the plan sponsor. So you are the entity sponsoring the plan. You are responsible for maintaining the census data used by each of the other parties involved in the plan. You are involved in the processing of contributions into the plan, and you are a fiduciary for the plan, making decisions for the plan. Your investment advisor is actively involved with you in selecting different investments for the plan lineup, as well as providing guidance to you and your participants. They are the ones that will assist with employee education, enrollment, investment questions, and planning for the future. Definiti is your compliance provider. We provide compliance and document services. We provide guidance to you as to what you need to do to maintain the plan under compliance for operations, testing, maintaining the legal document. So if you have a question as to how you should be operating your plan, when things are due, those are questions that Definiti will assist you with. Your record keeper is where you will function each payroll period. That is where the funds withheld will be submitted into the plan, and where your participants will actually see those monies going into their account. So they assist with questions such as navigating their website, how to deposit or submit the contributions into the plan, and can assist with updating participant records as well. So you are the plan sponsor. You, as an individual, are named by the company to sort of handle the day-to-day functions of the plan. These can include things like uploading or managing the contribution submissions to the plan at the record keeper, maintaining census data for the record keeper and the third-party administrator for the proper administration of your plan. You're going to be responsible for maintaining records and executing documents and filings relevant to the plan, and delivering participant communications to your eligible participants. As a plan sponsor, you may be an ERISA fiduciary as well. So a fiduciary is something that we typically have questions on. People are not sure what makes them a fiduciary. A fiduciary can be an individual or institution named in the legal document, or you may assume fiduciary role by certain actions that you take over for the plan. So this can be overseeing the contributions, managing and making decisions on behalf of the plan. As the plan administrator, you are responsible for the day-to-day management of the plan. We are a third-party administrator at Definiti, so not to be confused with the day-to-day administration of your plan, but we do provide guidance to you on the day-to-day management of the plan, and then we do oversee the annual compliance and maintaining the compliance of the plan. So as we work on the compliance of your plan, we do refer to participants quite often. So a participant is simply defined as any employee who is actually eligible to participate in the plan, and that's regardless of their own participation in the plan, if they opt to participate or not. Within that participant group, there are a couple different terms that we use relating to the compliance of your plan that you will hear quite often. And those are highly compensated employees and key employees, both of which are very relevant to the testing under the compliance of your plan. So a key employee can be defined in multiple ways. So anyone that has more than 5% ownership would fall into this category. Additionally, officers with specific earning, excuse me, will fall into that category, and owners with a smaller percentage plus the necessary compensation would fall into the key category. Now, this IRS compensation limit is determined by the IRS each year, so it is subject to change. If you have questions on that, please let us know, and we can help you in determining if you have any individuals that fall into that category. As I mentioned, highly compensated employees are the other group that you will quite often hear about. So highly compensated employees, similar to key employees, would cover individuals that have more than 5% ownership in the prior year. And then also individuals that have a compensation limit as defined by the IRS. The plan document may also group individuals based, if you have a number of highly compensated individuals, it's going to be the top 20%, but that would be something that is outlined in your plan provisions. If you have questions or not sure if that is in your plan, please let us know and we'd be happy to assist. So highly compensated and key employees are important because it is relevant for the non-discrimination testing, coverage testing, and other testing necessary for your plan each year. These tests are required so that the plan does not favor those HCEs or keys over your rank and file employees. So that testing is completed by Definiti each year. We use the information you provide as the plan sponsor to complete that testing. The plan document is, in most cases, completed here by Definiti and maintained for you. And it governs the plan operations. So your day-to-day operations of the plan are really governed by the document. Things like eligibility, when employees can enter into the plan, and what money they are able to fund into the plan or receive as an employer contribution are outlined in the document. Additionally, it will outline when participants can have full access to those funds should they leave, and when they can access the benefits under the plan, whether they're employed or after their employment has ended. So these key terms are available to you in the plan sponsor guide. We do offer a bit more detail, but if you do have any questions on them, please let us know. We're happy to explain them and how they impact your plan specifically. So census information is something that I mentioned the plan sponsor is responsible for maintaining. This data is the basic information for each of your participants and is relevant for the record keeper and for your third-party administrator. This census information can be grouped into different groups of information. So it's going to include basic indicative data such as names, phone, address, dates of birth, socials, relevant information that the record keeper and Definiti needs to maintain the accounts. It's going to include compensation data. This is relevant for the testing that Definiti completes each year. It's going to include contribution data. So those are the contributions funded by the participants throughout the year, as well as any employer funds that go into those accounts throughout the year. Again, this is relevant for us as your third-party administrator. It's also going to group in any ownership or officer information for the company. I want to touch on hardship withdrawals, as this is a common question that comes up for plans. A hardship withdrawal is a specific type of in-service distribution. It must be permitted through your plan document in order for a participant to access these funds. It is not specific to a participant's age, so they can access these funds at any time should they meet certain requirements. Those requirements are outlined by the document, and essentially this is the emergency access to their retirement funds for use in satisfying an immediate need. If you have participants wanting information on hardship withdrawals, please reach out to us. We can walk you through the questions that they may have, what their availability is as well. So ERISA is a term that you hear quite often from us as your third-party administrator when we're completing the compliance of your plan. So ERISA refers to the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974, and this is a basic law that governs plan operations for qualified plans and tells the plan sponsors and all parties as to what they need to do to maintain the plan's compliance. So a summary plan description is another term that you will hear quite often relating to your plan. This is the plain English version, or I like to refer to it as a Cliff Notes version of your plan document. It is the document version that is distributed to plan participants. So each time you have your document restated, a new summary plan description is provided. And that needs to be distributed to anyone that is eligible for the plan at that time, as well as new participants before they enter into the plan. Again, this is provided by our office when we complete your document work. And if you have questions on the plan provisions or when this should be distributed to your participants, please let us know. So, okay, I will hand back to you regarding the resources that we have available.
Yeah, thank you, Crystal. So we do have a couple of resources, as Crystal mentioned. Obviously, one is this session replay. We hope that it's foundational. It helps you understand all the different players and participants, or I use the word participants, but it helps you understand all the different roles and functions of a plan. And so obviously this video would be something that you could share with anyone that new that comes on your team who wants a better understanding, or if you want to watch it again. So it'll be available as well. Crystal mentioned the plan sponsor guide. That will be something that we'll be posting to the plan sponsor link in your account in the coming days. So that'll be available, and both within the plan sponsor link and then also as a separate document, we've taken the opportunity to pull out the key terms, some of the key terms that Crystal mentioned, and there are quite a few. We acknowledge that the retirement industry is like learning a whole new language. There's a whole bunch of different terminology, and then when you bring in ERISA regulations, it can sound a little daunting, but the key terms are all available as a separate item on the website. You can go to definiti.com and simply search for key terms, and you'll find it there as well. And it's something that we keep adding, right? As we have new acts or things that come along, it's something that we add to the system. So Crystal, we do have a few minutes for questions. I'm just curious because you talked about implementations and you're working with clients who are just beginning their plan. What is the most common question you get from new plan sponsors about their plan? What are they most concerned about?
I would say the most common question I get actually isn't what they're concerned about, but keeping the parties straight. So that was one of the first areas I covered. So understanding who to go to with what questions. So anything relating to compliance of the plan, maintaining the plan, really comes to us as your third-party administrator. Anything relating to investing, the investment lineups, what selections you should make, those go towards the advisor. And then the record keeper, if it's anything regarding submitting contributions, participant access to the account, that's really a record keeper question. That is really the number one thing we get. Other than that, probably in the other items that I went over, it's plan provisions, things like hardship withdrawals or other in-service access to money and knowing who your highly compensated employees are for tax purposes. But there are more terms that we did not go over as well.
Yes, there are a lot in that list. And so if you want to know all of the words that in terms that Crystal was talking about, both the plan sponsor guide and also the key terms on the website, also really great resources. But we did want to keep this engaging. Crystal, I wanted to ask you a question about well, I've lost my question.
Well, I can.
Did you have something?
I was going to. No, go ahead.
If I may, over the years, I've had a number of plan sponsors who are concerned about the fact if I'm a plan sponsor, am I also a trustee?
Oh, so a plan sponsor is not necessarily a trustee. So the plan sponsor is the entity that is maintaining the plan. The trustee may be an entity or individuals that are specifically named in the document as trustees. So being named as a trustee will make them a fiduciary. Selecting or managing the plan would make individuals of the plan sponsor a fiduciary as well.
Yeah, great question. Thank you, Scott. I remembered my question, Crystal. We talked yesterday about hardship loans, and that actually created quite a bit of conversation, and you mentioned it there as well. You mentioned it needs to be written in the plan document, and I also wanted to let people know that we do have a list. We talked yesterday about what are those specific instances for a hardship loan, when does that apply? We do have that list compiled, and so we'll be sharing that as some of our resources when you get the links for this video. So be watching for that, and we'll make sure that it gets posted on the website. Any other questions that we've got for Crystal while she's here with us? I'm really glad that you were here today, Crystal. Thank you so much for sharing your time and energy with us. And we'll go ahead and transition. Thank you so much, Crystal.
Not a problem.